You could build anything you want, but you cannot build it overnight.
A real friend is going to tell you when you're going sideways.
We got enough oil. We pump more oil than anybody else. We refine more oil than anybody else. We drill more oil than anybody else. How come our prices aren't down?
Welcome to Mended Men's Conversation, Life Lessons and Legacies, where real men have real conversations. In every episode, we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and lessons that shape us as men. From mental health and fatherhood to faith, identity, and purpose. We are breaking the silence and starting the conversations that matter. Between us is over 12 years of professional experience and more than 140 years of combined life experience as fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, friends, and educators. We know that healing starts with an honest dialogue. So let's get real. Let's get ready. Let's grow together. This is Mended Men's Conversation.
What's going on, man? What's up? What's up in the air with you?
Not much, man. Just surviving and enjoying life. What else could I do? But yeah, before we start, you mentioned something about gender.
What do you mean, gender?
That you wanted to talk about.
No, I was saying we could just talk about things, generalities of what's going on, you know,
3%.
in the country and the world about this, that, and because everything that's going on in the country right now relates to us, even though it seems like it's a white thing, but it relates to all the people. I don't understand how he talks, but he makes no sense. And the only people you see really try to back him up, you really don't see a lot of politicians saying anything. The Speaker of the House hasn't said anything. Who runs the Senate? I haven't heard anything coming out of his mouth because they're all out. When did they come back from their vacation or time off?
I think this coming week. I think they can come back this week. When they come back, they ain't gonna do nothing. But you know something? You're correct. I think they're all out on vacation or some kind of.
They're on their spring break, pretty much.
But it kills me, to watch them how they function. He says something. I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall of one of these foreign countries just to hear what they think about him. Because I know, my opinion, he's a butthole in my opinion, because he has no dignity whatsoever. And whoever he's listening to, God bless him. I don't know what they said in his ear.
They're telling him what he wants to hear. Okay, and they will not challenge him. When they sit up in a meeting talking about attacking Iran, it would have been nice to hear what their justifications were when they was discussing it, what our intelligence people were saying, or I should say our people who have lack of intelligence, what ambassadors were saying, the people who have the knowledge of the Middle East were saying, what the people from other countries like Russia, China, or whatever, the thought process. You know what China did? China did like a commercial or something, and they had up there taco. Trump always changes his mind, changes. And they was just making fun of him. And now he's got to go there in about 2-3 weeks, all right? So how is he going to act? It's a known fact that if you sweet talk him, he'll drop his panties for you all the time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because that stuff he was talking Easter weekend, he gonna blow up Iran and bridges and.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, you know what that remind me of? I don't know. I was thinking back when I was young, when I was a kid, just maybe 12 or 13, when you get into a scrap and next thing you know, you in over your head and you try to use the bully thing, but the person you trying to bully ain't afraid of you.
Ain't going for it. Ain't going for it.
And your shit ain't working. So, you got to do the Michael Jackson. You got to do all kinds of shit to get up out of it. That's what this shit look like.
You got to moonwalk your ass out. You're right about that. Damn. and then he go, hee hee. He's moonwalking his ass out of the room. That is
I can
so
imagine him
funny.
trying to do the moonwalk.
Hell
Lord.
yeah. And the crazy part about it is that he doesn't care what type of embarrassment it is bringing to the country.
He has no conscience.
He has no filter that says, hey,
Yeah.
you're talking dumb, all right? The Iranians, all right? You guys, we whipped your ass. We beat the snot out you. We control the skies. We run this. We run that. Wait a minute. Breaking news. U.S. jet got shot down over Iran. You know, looking for missing pilot, you know, so, and he says all that stuff and they're not afraid of him. Iran sits back and go, okay, you can shoot at us, you can kill our people, but don't worry, there's enough of us to still hang around. He should have learned from Vietnam. When we went to Vietnam, we should have learned from the French because the French was there before we got there. And they gave up and said to hell. And they got out of Vietnam. Okay, and they was glad we came in and made an ass out of ourselves. We should have learned from Afghanistan. Before we went to Afghanistan, the Russians were there. And the Russians, and we were actually helping the Afghans fight against the Russians. We was giving them weapons, you know, and intel and CIA intel and all that stuff. Then we take our dumbasses in there soon as they come out. The Russians leave out, all embarrassed with their tails dragging between their legs. But the two things they should have realized that one, regime change, to change the regime, that is not as easy as you think because you're thinking in terms of your government and you're not thinking in terms of the government of that location of where you're
Right.
going to. You think everybody's worried about you because you got more guns, all right? If you got 10 guns and the person got one, all he needs is just one bullet to kill your ass.
I'm going to say a person with a 6th grade education would sit down and say, wait a minute, wait. Let me kind of like check this out, you know, because it's a lot more at stake. And then the crazy part, ain't nobody helping him. None of them foreign countries is helping him. All
No.
of them sit there, you know, they ain't doing nothing. Now, Israel trying to do their thing, you know, they on a whole different plane.
Well, Israel the one that dragged his ass into it.
Yeah.
They dragged him into it.
You know, it shows, well, I'm going to say from his first president, he showed his mentality. He showed how he can be manipulated, you know, and man, they playing him like a Mexican mule, working him like a Mexican.
Yeah, it's just kind of amazing that you could tell he doesn't have any street education,
any intelligence at all.
I'm talking about this straight street intelligence. He has none at all, and I agree with you. But he doesn't know anything about the street because the streets say if you go around the neighborhood and you tell everybody to kiss your ass, then you go to the next neighborhood over and you start a fight, and then you come back and say, hey guys, they fucking with me. Come on, help me out. What do you think they're gonna do?
He said, that ain't my fight.
That ain't my fight. That's your fight. That's your problem, you know? And so he doesn't understand that just because y'all in the same neighborhood don't mean that the people want you. Doesn't mean that the people will help you.
Let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, you know, how he grew up, always had a silver spoon in his mouth. So really never experienced any difficulty, you know, so he had money so he can kind of like buy his way through this and buy his way through that. Now he's in a position where he got to show, as you said, some street smarts, you know, that I know what I'm doing. You know, at least attempt to look good. You know, he ain't even doing that. He's showing his whole hand.
Now, he's supposed to be the deal maker, right? He's terrible at bluffing, okay? It gets to the point, that's why he's got the name Taco, all right? And when you bluff somebody and you got to know who you bluffing, and you got to know how far you can take it. Between 1 to 10, if you can bluff at 2 and they fall for it, you got it made. But if you walk in there and say you're going to bluff at 10, then that means you have to back that shit up. Whatever bluff you got, a bully has to back it up. Now, especially if the person has already seen you fight and they know you ain't shit worth the fighting. They know that you can only fight so much, okay? And then you come in and say, I'm going to totally destroy you. Then they bluff you back and say, okay, do it. Totally destroy me and everybody else. You want to start World War III? Fine. Go ahead. Do it. So his only next step he's got is nukes. And you know damn well.
I don't know how that's going to work out. It's like the rest of the world is just sitting back waiting for him to kill himself or, go to jail.
He make
Because,
an ass out of himself.
yeah, well, he's good at doing that. I give him credit for that. He's very good at doing that. I don't know. Like I said, I wish I was a fly on the wall in one of these countries just to hear what some of these leaders say about him. Well, I know what they say, and I'm more than quite sure they validate the same thing I see. Asshole.
Not talking about Israel, but I'm talking about the other Middle East countries, UAE, Qatar, and Emirates, them other countries there. Why they're pissed off, but they haven't really done much about it until Trump get your act together. All right, we got bases in those countries, and we're supposed to be there to protect them. He ain't doing jack shit about protecting them. All right. And here's another problem too. They put their asses in a pinch because they've got money invested in these deals with Trump, his son-in-law, and on the side. So they got money they don't invested into Trump, and they're like, oh my God, if they back off and tell Trump to kiss their ass and move on, then look at all the money they lost. Billions and billions of dollars they have invested in his company. And I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about in Trump himself.
Yeah.
And Trump's talking about, well, they're going to bring all this money to the United States. Everybody he's talked about that's going to bring trillions of dollars of investment into the United States, we ain't seen a penny of that shit. I ain't seen a penny, but he's talking a good game. And then he gets mad with Japan and says, you didn't come to my aid. Then he goes to South Korea. You guys didn't come to my aid. And then he goes to England. You guys and France, everybody. And everybody says, bitch, we didn't even know you was gonna do that shit. You didn't even come to us and say you're gonna go over to the next neighborhood and set their houses on fire, rape their women, beat up their kids. You didn't say jack shit to us about it, And
Just
now you come back and say, right, here's the worst part about it. He doesn't even understand, talking about getting out of NATO, he doesn't even understand what NATO is and why it was formed and the purpose of NATO. NATO's not offensive, it's defensive. If Iran attacked us, then NATO will be there. But for us to go attack Iran and don't even let them know we doing it, this man is crazy,
It shows what people think about it. And I don't know. I can't say enough about it because I'm just amazed at the things that he do. He has to backpedal on it. Like I said earlier, about it was the Easter thing. He threatened to do all that other stuff. None of that shit happened. But then he had to turn around and go to Pakistan to help set up a meeting with Iran. And then he's going to send J.D. Vance over there. United States got a lot of power.
Yeah, we do.
They got a lot of power. And it was very known for that all over the world. And respected to a certain extent. Whatever they had since he's been in office, they lost that. They see Putin. They see copy of Putin. Difference, he don't have enough of finesse with his bullshit.
All his bluffs are the same, all right? He goes up to the wire, then he backs out. He backs down. All right. The stock market, why is the price of gas still high? First, he brags about we don't need gas from nobody. We got enough oil. We pump more oil than anybody else. We refine more oil than anybody else. We drill more oil than anybody else. How come our prices aren't down? Because he don't understand the price of oil is based the world market, not the U.S. market. So, and these people are going to naturally go up on price. Even though we could supply ourselves, they're naturally going to go up. And he didn't even think about what coming out of the Middle East is not just oil, but you got fertilizer, you got hydrogen, you got this, you got that. And then you get some of these dumbass Republican voters who say, well, we could build all that stuff ourselves. You could build anything you want, but you cannot build it overnight. It's going to take time,
Yeah.
and it's going to take investment. And when people
Yeah.
start investing, they want to raise the price so they can get their money's worth. It's impossible for U.S. to make things when our labor is 3 times and twice the average labor of Asia,
Right.
10 times
Yeah.
Africa, twice maybe than Europe. It's funny that
Well,
all the labor that is high is in white
we
countries.
don't have any more.
Yeah.
It's gone. We buy most of our goods from China. And China just sitting back in the cut saying, yeah, well, let him burn himself out, burn his bridges. And this just gives us an opportunity to look at what this reality is. We just got to stay focused and together. We got to do this road because his thing is divide and conquer. And, and it's so obvious. I think the more he do things, the more he draw people together.
Well, you made a good statement there, divide and conquer. But the people he's dividing and conquer is us. He's causing us to divide and create an internal civil war politically, economically. Now, he's got all the Republicans, the majority of them are supportive of him, 80% are supportive of what he's doing in Iran. All right. But the only ones making money off the deal are the rich, the IT, the rich folks. So now he's even dividing, he's separating even his own people economically. And he says, it's just going to be a short term. That's bullshit because it takes time to start back up again. He says that we're going to have oil shipping out of Iran, and we're gonna have just tons of it shipping out. Well, it don't work like that. If y'all come to a deal, it's gonna take weeks before you can start rolling again, and it's gonna take months because bombed out the infrastructure. It's gonna take months and maybe years to get that back together again. And and then to say that we need more money for the military. No, I don't think the federal government should. We can't pay for people's health care. We can't pay for child care. Let the state do that. Our main concern should be to militarily protect the country. Duh. Who's protecting? Who's attacking us? You idiot.
ICE.
Oh, well, yeah, you got a point there. They're the only enemy we've got.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the Supreme Court to come back and say something about birthright citizens.
I'm going to say this much. I listened to some of it. I don't think it's in his favor, but I'm not going to put my money on it because, the Supreme Court, I don't have that much of confidence in it because he put a lot of people there. It's amazing that, I kind of like they let a lot of stuff slide. And now they're getting to the point where they're being more accountable. I mean, because I listened to the guy he had talking to him, presenting his case.
Yeah, I think his name was Sauer, the district attorney, the attorney for the government attorney. I think his name was Sauer or something like that.
He didn't make a case.
No, he showed that he was terrible.
Shot it down.
He was terrible. He really was terrible,
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was a
But
day.
I want to see what the vote is when it comes back. Now, even if they go against him, it shouldn't be, actually, it should be 9-0 against him. But if it comes back 8-1, 7-2, 6-3, something's wrong. Something's really wrong, But here's the thing. We briefly talked on this before we got started. What the hell is going on with Melania? Now, I know we should show some respect and say the first lady, but that ain't never been his first lady. Okay? So, What's going on with her to come out, have a press conference, which she called, and she comes out there and she talks about Epstein. I don't remember anything really trying to put the arm twisting her about, well, you knew Epstein and you this and you and that. Maybe she's having some guilty feelings, or maybe they found something in the files more concerning with her, even though she and Epstein had exchanged emails, all right? And they're trying to say she met Trump through Epstein, all right? But you can't get any true clarification on that. But she and Gasell, I mean, come on, you were there around when Trump was around him, you were around him. And the boy was married at the time, you know? He was
But see, they
married to
did a lot of
his
stalking.
wife now. No, I mean
Yeah.
to the wife before. The wife before.
So,
So I know he's got to be pissed because she brought that back up. And then she says her piece, I have nothing. There was nothing. I know nothing. I was thinking of it when I was watching her. You remember the TV series Hogan Heroes?
yeah.
With the sergeant, I know nothing. I know nothing. You know, I speak nothing. That's what she was like. She was at, don't drag me into this, what people are saying, and I hear stuff. That's bullshit. She's getting that. Now she makes people more interested.
Yeah. You know, I look at them in previous presidents that was in office. Now, even though I felt like some of them would come up there and be lying through their teeth, I give them credit because they use a little finesse. They don't go finesse. They just right out front what they're going to do, and they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care at all. We're going to do this. We're going to show up. They walk like you're playing cards. You know, you hold your hands so nobody see you. They just lay their cards down on the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't.
Matter of fact, you come around the table, you get out of your seat, come around the table, look in their hand, and you say, no, you can play that card there. You go, okay.
They go back and sit down.
You go back and sit down. But anyway, you got to bet a little more than what you did, okay? Matter of fact, give me that card. I can use that ace. Yeah, I'll give you this too. You give me that ace, and we're good, okay?
I'll get this card because it looked like that. And they both of them look like they white card. You good.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
To
All I
me,
can say is
is the ignorance that they want us to have.
unbelievable.
It's gone beyond that to laughable.
Yeah.
To the point we should shed tears because they actually believe in the things that they're telling us. We still don't know why we're there. And we still don't know why. I know every week he brings up some reason. He says the nuclear thing and this and that. As a matter of fact, he walks in there, he tears up the deal Obama had. All right. But now he presents them a deal which is much better than the deal they had from Obama. And they make money off the deal. Matter of fact, they've made more money over the last week or two in the whole deal that they said Obama gave them. Obama gave them 1.6 something billion dollars, which was their money, which we froze in the bank. We wouldn't let them have their money. So we're giving them their money back with the Obama deal. And we had inspectors that could go anywhere they wanted to go in the country. And it was run by the UN Atomic Energy Commission for the UN. So they went in, checked everything, and it was always inspected. And they knew they could only enrich up to a certain point. I think it was like no more than 5%. All right. So they were doing it. I mean, hell, Trump said it's a terrible deal. I mean, what was wrong with the deal? Well, they had the missiles. That's just a matter of time. We just said no on the missiles. Okay.
Are you talking about the one Obama created?
Yeah, the deal he had with Iran, the nuclear deal he had with Iran.
He's going to try to erase. But I look at that, and that to me, that brings more attention to what Obama done. You're not erasing it. You bringing it out in the open. You're making it look better. You know,
yeah, you're showing how much smarter he was than you.
And I think, it reminds me, I think he had a dinner at the White House. Trump was there, and he embarrassed Trump. Boy.
One of the things Obama did, he said, yeah, just think about if Trump was president, that he said that he could make some changes to the White House. He would not, oh, we don't think, but I think this is what he'd do. So he showed a picture of the White House, and on top, he had a sign that said Trump's house. Who'd have thunk that's what's happening today? Who'd have thunk it? Now, the common sense approach, here is this guy changing the White House around where he's getting billions and, okay, it's up to $400 billion to put in a ballroom. And these average Republicans, they can't get $3 billion out of him for health care. Now, he says, I'm not paying for it. I'm getting donations. Well, you should be getting donations from these rich people to pay for health care. You know, if they're going to give you hundreds of billions of dollars, use it for that. Who gives a rat's ass if you got a big enough ballroom for the White House? Take your ass to the hotel down the street and let them make money off you. That's what they're in business for.
What was wrong with what they already had?
Well,
And
the
that's
ball, they
taxpayer.
said it was too small. They said the ballroom was too small at the White House. Okay. So now he's building something that has more square footage than the White House itself. That's like you building a bathroom bigger than your whole house. Really, it's crazy.
What's the purpose?
He wants to show people that he's rich. He put in golden, he redone the Lincoln Room, he redone the bathrooms. You saw him done all this gold and all that other kind of crap. It looked like a slutty ass whorehouse from the movies and stuff. All that cheap gold looking stuff around there. You know, he
But,
shows his insecurities to the world.
we joke about it, but the sad thing is he has no support. I mean, honest, true support. If I'm doing something wrong, you gonna pull me up.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but I gotta respect it because a real friend is going to tell you when you're going sideways. They ain't gonna just you go sideways and continue to make a butt out of themselves because that reflects on you. He doesn't have that around him. He placed people around him to boost his ego, and they know that.
Yeah.
So that's what they can give a shit about it. They don't care about it because as soon as he drop dead, they're gonna try to slide. Ain't no try. They will slide JD Vance in there, and he ain't nothing but a puppet.
Right. You know, JD, you're the greatest thing that ever happened to us. The shit they do
Right.
for Trump, they're not going to do for him, you know.
No.
And you think Congress is going to let JD talk crap? Hell no. They're going to kick JD in his ass. See, they
He be a lame
already,
Be a lame duck.
Yeah. You see, they already pimped themselves out or hoard themselves out to Trump, and they can't take it back now. And I tell you, you can see that with the podcasters. All those pro-MAGA podcasters are now turning on him. And he's just like, they're no good. They're this, they're punks, they this, they that. He's dogging them out. Now you can see how he do when you turn on him, when you don't agree with him. And they've turned on him about the war. And the biggest thing, like Tucker Carlson, all right, these are pro-MAGA podcasters for Trump. And they're all saying what he said on Easter, the cussing he did on Easter Sunday, man, it pissed a lot of them off. So now we mentioned earlier about his divide and conquer. Now he's dividing his own people up. And he's telling his people, don't go for these podcasters anymore. They're no good. They're nothing. They're just jealous of me and all this and that.
I always say I give him credit for being consistent, and that is what he is. He's a consistent fuck up.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's a consistent fuck up. He's a little bitch because he gets his little feelings hurt. Then he wants to come after you. And with Melania coming out, I'm still kind of amazed that she would come out and say anything about Epstein, especially when it was never brought up. And I could only think of the only reason she did was because they found something and they told her, hey, we found some shit about you and Epstein. You better, what are we going to do about it? And she said, whoa, I can't let this get behind me. I got to say something. I got to attack this before it comes out. But when she does that, whatever it is, it's going to come out unless they burned it. They should look and see if there's smoke coming out from the back of the White House where they're having a big bonfire burning all these Epstein files.
Everybody should be entitled to have their own opinion. Me and you disagree all the time. That's common courtesy. This is
Mhm.
something they do not demonstrate. You know, this is a real, I would say, weak mentality, because in order for you to, if you disagree with me, I'm going to find some kind of way to punish you, because I'm going to make you see my point is right and your point is wrong. So that's the mentality of a bully. Common decency to have a conversation with you and allow you to have your opinion, and I have my opinion. And after the conversation is over, we should still continue to respect each other.
Thing when Trump was talking about to Iran, I will eliminate you. That is what Netanyahu is doing in Gaza. He's trying
Yeah,
to
well,
eliminate a people.
yeah. From what I heard, that long as he's at war with somebody, they can't
Yeah,
do anything to him. But the
right.
minute he stopped, they can charge him with a lot of war crimes.
Oh, hell yeah. And not only the war crimes, Israel itself has him under indictment for, what's it? I'm not going to say embezzling, but for crimes in Israel. That's why he wants to keep the war going on. Okay, as long as
Hey,
there's a
listen,
war, they're ready to
doesn't that
indict
sound
this
familiar?
guy, huh?
Don't that sound familiar?
Definitely.
Same thing is going on here.
That's
The
definitely.
Taco Man is having his war and doing all this other stuff, so nobody focus on the Epstein.
Yeah, he's got judgments that the judge put off on him and said because he was found guilty, he put off the punishment because then he became president. And he said, we're going to wait until you out of office. This man going to do everything he can that he don't get out of office. And hopefully bring in another Republican that will let him go.
On the
If
Supreme
he
Court.
can't stay, parole, not parole, what's it? Pardon him, like Ford did Nixon, if he can't run again, and he's not supposed to run again. All right, because that's the Constitution.
2 terms and out. It's supposed to be 2 terms and out.
2 times and you're gone. That's right. But so
Listen,
he don't want it to end. This man
but
is up.
mentally, I don't really believe that he's there. Looking at him, he does not look healthy.
No, he
He
doesn't.
look
No, he doesn't. He looks sloppy, He's all bent over when he walks. He's very low energy. He's up. There's no way no 80-year-old man should be up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning texting, about bullshit. There's no way he should be doing that. He
about
has his
bullshit.
meetings. He's sitting up in his meetings. He was talking about sleepy Joe Biden, all right? Sleepy Joe Biden, oh, this and that. And every time he has his meetings, he's up there going to sleep when the people are talking.
This is a fact. There's facts to what everything we saying here today. The thing about living here in the United States, that you can talk about what you don't like, or you talk about the United States.
That's
It was
true.
just
Free speech.
they trying to get to the point where you make it where, like, your word, your conversation can be censored.
Yeah, and even worse than that, when you hear people say, well, he's the president, you should show him some respect. Who does he show respect to?
Listen,
What norms and value system does he follow or try to show? I mean, what
listen.
kind of example is he setting?
I learned as a kid, in order to get respect, you got to be able to give it. It don't make a
Yeah,
difference what your title is. Respect is earned.
yeah,
That's the bottom line. You know, that's a universal trait. You want respect, you got to be able to give it. You can't get it, give it. Don't think nobody gonna give it back to you. You ain't gonna get it. You can't
right.
give it out. It ain't coming
Mm-hmm.
back your way. Real simple.
Yeah, and you got to show maturity. He does not show any maturity at all.
I have little respect for him, because how can you, as a president, now you don't have to like everybody, but for you to disrespect people in public, come on. And you're supposed to be the face of this nation. Okay, so you got to have some kind of, you got to carry yourself in a way of respect, none whatsoever. None.
And
He cared less about respect.
after what he did on Easter, he should never, ever again have a prayer breakfast in the White House. He was totally disrespected not just Christianity, he disrespected Islam. He disrespected all people's beliefs by the way he act. And any of these ministers and pastors who say, God brought him to us and, he's showing Christian values, you ought to get bitch slapped out there in the street, right out of the church into the street.
Oh, like strike them all.
Yeah,
Just be
so
quick.
how can you say this man is setting and say, yeah, God, he's a godly man? How can you say that? And you see how he act, and the things he got convicted for.
Just haven't caught up with him yet. But they're gonna
Well,
find some
people are
kind of
trying real hard not to let it catch up with him.
yeah, yeah. But they're so blatant about the things they do, you can't ignore it. I mean, it'd be different if he has some kind of, finesse with him where he can kind of like put a little shade on it. Man,
Yeah,
his shit so wide open, like the sun don't even choose to shine on that shit no more.
no,
That's some
no,
messed up shit.
yeah. But I'm gonna see what happened with poor Melania about this Epstein stuff. Man, this is gonna be interesting because when they come back, Pam Bondi, she's supposed to testify, but first the Republicans are going to try to stop her from having to come to testify before the House of Representatives because they said
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
yeah, they said she's not in that position. Well, the indictment was for her. It ain't got nothing to do with the position she was in to ask questions, and she gonna come there and talk all kind of smack. Now she gonna cover for Trump, but he screwed her. He screwed her. Everything she did for ICE and all that other crap, she did it for Trump. And then he gonna go around and turn his back on her. Well, she got
Well,
greedy.
hey, you got to give him credit. He's consistent. When he
Oh yeah.
feel like things that is gonna make him look bad or whatever, he cut you loose.
Right. And
Uh,
you don't get more attention than him. Yeah. And your boy Tiger Woods, man. Your boy
he,
Tiger.
he need to
That
stay in rehab.
Tiger. It's bad enough he likes to play golf with Trump and be around him and all this and that. And I don't know where the hell he got that from. But then again, once he got caught in that accident, he called Trump up.
I didn't know he was married or dating Trump's ex-wife.
Trump's son ex-wife.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the older one, the one with the black hair, that turd, his ex-wife, he was seeing her.
I think when the accident happened, they had him sitting in the van, and he was sitting there, and he reminded me of a friend of mine. When he got drunk, he was real. He was same complexion. He was a real light, bright brother. But when he
Uh-huh.
got drunk, he looked like a peach. His face got
Yeah.
all red, eyes
Mm-hmm.
got whatnot. You know, and that's the way Tiger Woods look. I want to tell him, man, you need to run to a rehab. Don't say I'm there for 90 days. Say I'm just there, for a definite
Right.
amount of time until I can get the hang of this process and accept the fact I'm an alcoholic and
But you know what?
I can't drink.
It's not alcohol that's his problem. He's hooked on painkillers because he's got back problems. All right. He
Okay.
has had probably 3 or 4 back surgeries. Okay.
Okay, them pain
And
pills,
and that's even worse.
it ain't doing no good for him. Listen,
No,
he can't handle none of it. I
no.
mean, I wish the bad luck on the brother, but his life from this point forward, he gonna have to deal with some pain.
And as
You
much
ain't gonna
support as we've given this man, what is he? It's crazy.
But
You know,
some people don't know how to let this get out the limelight. Just go on and chill out.
they can't
Give
handle being out of the limelight.
I give Michael Jordan credit because, my opinion, I feel that when he retired, he wasn't out there trying to. Well, he did his thing, but I just say he kept it underneath the cup.
Yeah, he didn't do anything to get attention drawn to himself. He says,
Yeah.
hey, I made my money, I did that, let me go conquer something else because he's competitive. All right. He's not insecure about his life. He's very competitive because right now he is a part owner in a racing company that race stock cars and stuff. All right. So he's involved in that. I mean, take your competitiveness and make it positive. And competitiveness is not an insecurity. all these other people have an insecurity. They don't know how to take being out of the limelight, that 15 minutes of fame. Michael Jordan says, hey, I ain't gonna worry about 15 minutes of fame because I know how to tell time. And I ain't got my own clock, my own watch, you know, and time is continually existing. I'm not gonna look and say, is my time up? Screw you. When my time up is when I can't tell time no more, you know.
I give him
These
credit.
people
But he's enjoying his life,
yep.
and he's doing whatever he wanted. But you don't hear you don't hear about him in the news.
No.
Getting
Unless
drunk
they
and
want to dog him out, they're gonna try to dog him out. Like he says, the greatest of all time. To say who him or LeBron, who's the greatest of all time. He says,
he got my
I
vote.
don't bother with that stuff. I don't bother with that stuff. What do I care? I did my thing, my time's up and over. I move on to the next. I ain't gonna get caught up in that crap. If you want to, hey, that's your business, but it don't mean nothing to me. It don't add nothing to my life. Nothing at all, you know?
He not
So
looking for
that's
praises.
what makes him great. You know, he likes to gamble. He likes to this and that. If he can afford to gamble, fine. That's his business. I could care less. All right. But hey, don't judge me by your standards if you can't judge yourself by your standards.
I wish the best to Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I do too, because he was a hell of a golfer. He really was. And even though there was black golfers before him, he made a statement. But he started, he wouldn't even allow us to brag on him being one of us. He had to be a cobbler nation, you know. I'm not black, I'm a cobbler nation, because his mother was Filipino descent and his father was this and that or whatever. Come on, man, run with it. You are a person of color. You are white. When you in America, you are considered black. All right. Black is not it's a racial thing. It's not a nationality. All right.
But
White is not a nationality.
me, I say that that's a perfect example to accept who you are wanting to be white.
Yeah.
Wanted to be accepted by white, let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And,
Uh-huh.
and that goes to say, they will never accept you. I don't care if you Chinese, whatever they consider white or Caucasian, they're not going to accept you. Now, some will. He's
He
seen
learned the
how
hard
fast.
way. Yep. You're right about that, bro. You're right about that. But all right. Let's see what happens. It seems like every day we could have a show every day, pretty much. All this bullshit going on right now. All right.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get funky, especially the closer we get to the midterms. It's really gonna get funky, especially with what he wants to do with this mail-in voting, which is totally asinine, and I don't see why people don't get it. He's against mail-in voting, but a couple of weeks ago he voted by mail. Now you tell me, ain't that something crazy about that? And he still acts like, he voted by mail in his district. All right, a Democrat won it. It's a state thing. A Democrat won it, but he still voted by mail. But he said he's trying to eliminate voting by mail. Come on. I mean, common sense to say, don't pay this man no attention.
He says one thing and do another thing.
Yeah.
He's a whole taco man.
He is, man. He dried up old taco. That's all he is. And the world is laughing at him, and he doesn't believe it. He believes they laughing at America, the people against him, but the world is laughing at him, because he's shown not only his ignorance, he's shown his lack of knowledge. You're gonna go fuck with a country and you have no knowledge of that country. You have no knowledge of that people, and you don't care to.
And you know what the crazy part? I know that we a little over time, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway. I think when he had that announcement, he was talking to the Iranian people, telling them they need to stand up and they need to do this. It's like,
Right.
really?
Yeah.
You bombing them. You tell them they should take over. Like, who the hell gonna take over?
Especially when he says, when they
Like,
was having the riots in Iran, he says, go ahead, stand up. I got your back. Yeah.
Like,
Prove
what
it.
you want?
Yeah.
And like I said, we can go on for days talking about this taco man.
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
new name. I'm gonna call him Taco Man.
Yeah, but we should be more keep an eye on our politicians. Those
Yeah,
people
I agree.
supporting him. Keep an eye on them because, they the ones who causes problems because they don't stand up for us.
Well, it's most of them in there is for themselves. So hypocritical. One of them, I say, is hypocritical. Is that Lindsey Graham?
Lindsey Graham, you gotta be kidding me. What a character. For
He
Trump
kicked
against Trump. For Trump against Trump.
up the steps and kicked him out the window before
Yeah.
now he goes. Trump is in office. Trump go to the dump. He go behind him and tell him, "Look, I just been over. I wipe your butt."
Wait a minute, I don't have any paper towels. Let me lose my face.
See the crack. Go through the cracks of my face.
Heck yeah. Yeah, don't worry. Whoa, wait a minute. I didn't see to get that. Oh, I see a little spot over there. Let me lick that little spot off. Yeah. All right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that, boy. But
I know we shouldn't be saying that like that. Anyway, bruh, I think we done for the day.
yes,
Now, when they come looking for us and if they come looking for me and say, man, you guys said some bad stuff about the president, I'm going to say, well, I don't know about my partner, but me, it was AI. He he put that together. It was Riverside. It was all AI. It wasn't me. I wasn't even in town that day.
trying to help him. Maybe give him a little hint. Hopefully, what's a hint? Wise up something.
But I do want you to something for our next show. I think we should think about, and I'm gonna say it because we live. Keep your ears to the ground about AI. What's going on with that right now? Okay. Because there's been some crazy shits happening, and we might want to discuss that. You just keep your ear to the ground, see what you hear over the next week, okay?
All right, good
And
topic.
I
We
don't
can
want to
start.
get into it today, but I've been hearing some things the last few days, and it can be very concerning.
I'll check into that.
We do a little research on, see what's going on with that puppy. All right?
So,
All right. This is
it's been
Tituss Garnet.
and Anthony Washington at Mended Men's Conversation.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mended Men's Conversation. If something we shared resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Remember, healing is a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. Stay connected with us, subscribe to the podcast, and join the conversation online. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep building your legacy.